Right, hey guys, how's it going there? AC Milty back at it again. Here with a first to 5 versus my boy Laugh. We're just playing some Jungle Cup matches. This was first to 5. So on the left is my team. As you can see, I'm running the Skeptile, Vigoroth, Magneton, Noctowl, Breloom, and Scyther. The reason I'm running Skeptile is mainly because of Fury Cutter and Leaf Blade. It just charges so fast as a grass move, does great neutral damage, as well as the Aerial Ace, which allows it to take on opposing grass types as well as bug types such as Heracross. You pretty much beat Breloom. So Skeptile is actually a really good Pokemon. The only issue is it doesn't beat Vigoroth in the one-on-one like Venusaur or say Victreebel, but it has its niche as sort of a neuter. That's what I'll call it, a neuter, because he deals a lot of good neutral and can take on opposing Pokemon of the same type pretty decently. Obviously I have the Vigoroth because Vigoroth is a must-have for this cup. If you don't have a Vigoroth, like literally go outside, play. You should have one. Slack Off Community Day was a few days ago, or well, like a few weeks ago. So go make one right now. Next I have Magneton as my electric type to take on the flyers such as Scyther, Masquerain, Noctowl. I'm running Legacy, Thundershock, Discharge with Magnet Bomb. And it's not as bulky as Magnezone, maybe it's a little squishier, but because of Thundershock, Magneton gets to its charge moves very quickly and it can go boom boom boom, start raining down electric spasms on its opponents. It's great neutral, and because of how fast it charges, it can, at least before it dies, usually 4 charge attacks at least. Next, obviously I have the Noctowl, a very standard pick for this cup. Great flying type damage. One of the Pokemon I believe is a must-have for your team if you're going to go on the meta. Honestly, I think you just need Vigoroth, Noctowl, and the other 4 could be wild cards or Pokemon that counter them, or Pokemon that counter the Pokemon that counter them. And that's also why I brought Breloom. Breloom can fight off other Vigoroth, and he can beat most of the electric types with counters, except for Alolan Raichu. And lastly, Scyther. I like Scyther with Fury Cutter just because of how fast you can charge the moves, but there's times, man, where I really wish I had Air Slash on it, and you'll see in one of the matches when I get face off against Heracross that I really wish I had Air Slash at that moment. Alright, so on to Laugh's team. He is running the Alolan Raichu. Resist counter due to its psychic typing. So Breloom doesn't do as well here. Vigoroth can still take it on. It depends on how you shield. I believe with 0 shields, Alolan Raichu can kill Vigoroth with a Wild Charge and a Thunder Punch before Vigoroth can take it down with 2 or 3 Body Slams. So next, he also has the Armaldo, which I think is a great pick for this cup. Deals great damage to, say, Alolan Raichu, to all the grasses. Rock Blast allows it to threaten Noctowl to a degree. And I'm not sure if he was running Cross Poison or whatever other move he gets. I forget what his last move is. I think it was X Scissor. I think for this cup, I think Cross Poison is a little better because it allows you to deal neutral to other bug types. But then again, you already have Rock Blast, so I think that's honestly all you need. Most of the Pokemon that switch in will come into a Rock Blast anyway, and he charges it so quickly with Fury Cutter. You only need 10 Fury Cutters, and bam, you're there. Next, he has the Abomasnow with the Powder Snow, which is, I think, an underrated pick. It can take on other grass types, not named Skeptile. Skeptile with Fury Cutter kind of attacks him pretty well and takes him down pretty easily, and you'll see in the first match how that goes. Next, he has Noctowl, as I said, a standard pick. And he's running the Heracross. Heracross destroys Vigoroth, can take on grass types that are not named Venusaur or have an extra poison typing. So Heracross is good against Meganium, good against Skeptile. He deals good neutral damage versus most of his neutral matchups, such as Raichu, the neutral electrics. He destroys Magneton. He destroys Alolan Golem and Graveler. He's a great pick overall, and he does well against Credilli and Armaldo. And lastly, he has the Snorlax, sort of his dark horse pick. He's trying to get it to work, and I get it. I really wanted to use Snorlax in this cup, but because of Vigoroth, because of Heracross, and because of Breloom, I don't think he's going to do very well in this cup. I don't think we're going to see any teams with that Pokemon specifically on there. But anyway, enough talking. Let us get to the match. So here's game 1. So anyway, I decide to lead off here with the Sceptile. Looking at his team, I was like, I don't think he's going to lead Noctowl, even if he does. I had Magneton in the back to take care of that. But a part of me knew he's either going to lead Raichu or Abomasnow. So anyway, he did lead the Abomasnow, and you can see how much damage that Aerial Ace did. It almost killed Abomasnow. And the Fury Cutters were doing so much damage. He switches out into Noctowl, and I'm like, okay, let me get a bit more energy. Maybe I could possibly get a bit more chip damage on here. He might shield, but that would have been a super bad play for him. And then I decided to go into the Magneton here. Was that a bad play? I don't think so. I think I needed to save more energy on the Sceptile and then switch into Magneton. And he brings in his Raichu, so I know that he doesn't have Heracross, otherwise he would have brought it in and I would have died in like 5 hits. So when you're playing Magneton versus other electric types, you want to use Magnet Bomb because it does a little bit more damage. I know it's very tempting if you have Discharge on the left, and I don't know why the button looks bigger to me for some reason, but you want to use Magnet Bomb against all the neutral electrics, especially like against Alolan Golem, because it becomes neutral due to its rock typing. So anyway, we're just kind of playing the shield game here. I'm not sure what to do. I know I have the energy advantage, so I'm kind of able to either force a second shield or kill the Raichu. So I do force the second shield, and I have shield advantage here. If I get to Magnet Bomb before he gets to his Thunder Punch, I would have been able to take it out. But I tried to switch out just so I could save the Discharge for his Noctowl. But as you'll see here, I didn't really need to. Because his Noctowl was the last Pokemon on his team. I still have Vigoroth, who wins the matchup at this point just because there's no shields on the field. And he would be forced to use his charge moves. And I think initially he didn't know what I had as my third slot, so he just went for the Nightshade expecting something. I honestly think Sky Attack was his best play, especially because Magneton was about to die. So anyway, I'm able to get off a Body Slam here, and that was game 1. So it was very, very interesting seeing Abomasnow in action with the Powder Snow. I believe he has Outrage and Energy Ball on that one, so it could work. Outrage does a lot of great neutral damage, and it charges relatively fast with Powder Snow. And I think it's superior to Razor Leaf for Abomasnow in this meta. So I decided to lead Magneton here, thinking that he would lead with Noctowl the next game. But he starts off with his Snorlax. This is kind of a weird matchup because Magneton can't take a lot of Body Slams from Snorlax. You actually get to it KO'd by 2 Body Slams. So this is my first mistake. I went with Discharge. Magnet Bomb always does more damage, so I should have done that. Unless it's super effective. But I get the hit in. I need to get one more in order to KO him, but so this will either force a shield or not. So he shields there. I'm building up energy. I'm thinking, okay, I will survive this, but this will do at least 40%, 45%. And then he switches into Heracross, and I noticed that because of how quick my damage is going down. So I decided to go into Scyther here, because I have 4 times resist the fighting attacks. Now, he was either going to go for Earthquake, Mega Horn, or Close Combat. And all of those are moves that Scyther resists. But Mega Horn does so much damage. So much damage. Anyway, here I decided to save more energy with Fury Cutter. And then I bait the shield with X Scissor. Next turn, I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace. Why? Because he's going to think I'm going to go for another X Scissor. but I'm not. So there we go. I'm able to take out the Heracross, and I have the switch advantage. So everything's looking good so far, and I still have 2 shields up. So I'm not sure what he has in the back. I think for this game he had Noctowls and he had Noctowl and Snorlax left. So here I'm thinking, who should I bring in? I'm assuming that he had Noctowl. I wanted to save Magneton for later, so I decided to bring in Vigoroth. I'm 2 shields up, and there's no point taking extra damage right now. I want to have as much health HP on my Vigoroth as possible, knowing that Noctowl is his last Pokemon. And because I have slight energy advantage, I'm able to get the Body Slam off. There's a clean 35%. And then I switch into the Magneton, hoping that he would use Wing Attack and I'd be able to get off one last discharge. But he ends up going for the Sky Attack. And anyway, it ends up working for me because it works as sort of a semi-shield. Also, don't forget that he has the Snorlax in the back. He's done this to me before where I thought I won, and then all of a sudden something comes out from the back, and I'm just like, oh crap. So anyway, he brings in the Snorlax, but I have enough energy for a Body Slam, so I'm able to get that off. And that's a GG for game 2. What I learned from this match is that Magneton, I don't know how I feel about Magneton anymore, because every cup, I've always wanted to bring him, but there's always something that stops me. Like, for example, he can't beat Charizard, even though theoretically he should, because he's an electric type, which is why I didn't run him in my Rainbow Cup. So I might end up switching him out with Alolan Golem, just because Alolan Golem wins the flying type matchup much harder, with just fast attacks because of Rock Throw. So we'll see. I have to do more testing on that before I even decide. I might go with Raikou. So anyway, for the third match, I'm like thinking, who would he lead with next? I was thinking he might this time lead off with Alolan Raichu, so I decided to go with the Scyther lead. And in case he leads Abomasnow again, or Heracross, expecting my Vigoroth lead, I will have something that is able to immediately threaten with Fury Cutters. So he leads Heracross. I'm in a very safe position here. It'll take him way longer to get to Mega Horn before I get to a Aerial Ace, and he goes into Abomasnow here, which is another mistake. He should maybe have gone for the Noctowl, because this game, I mean, I was running the Magneton, but it would have dealt more immediate damage. I'm not sure, because Magneton wins versus Abomasnow and Noctowl. And at least he would have been able to get off potentially more neutral damage. I don't know. Anyway, I just go for X-Scissors here. And does great against Abomasnow. Able to take him out, no problem. And finally, he actually had the Alolan Raichu in the back. Okay, so he was running Heracross, Abomasnow, and Alolan Raichu. So, wanting to preserve my Vigoroth, I decided to switch into Magneton, just because I would lose the Heracross matchup much harder than the Alolan Raichu matchup. So this is the only chance that I'll really have to run Magneton. And you see, he brings him in here. I was trying to get to Discharge, but man, I just got deleted in like 2 hits. So I'm thinking, okay, he has the A Raichu in the back. Who do I bring in? I decided to bring in Scyther, and I'll try to bait the shield here. And I'm able to bait the shield. He wasn't sure if I had an Aerial Ace charge in the back, and now I'm thinking, okay, I can get to an Aerial Ace if I pray hard enough. I wasn't able to. And then he goes for the Mega Horn as soon as I bring in the Vigoroth. And it's hard. It's a hard call here. He's at 60% health, and I go for the Body Slam. No, I know that Heracross isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, so as long as I was able to get to a Body Slam, I'd be able to do a lot. Now here I was thinking, this is it. He's gonna go for the Wild Charge. Maybe he doesn't have the second move on this one. I'm not 100% sure, because Wild Charge would have destroyed my Vigoroth and won him the game. But that gives me the chance to go for the immediate Body Slam. So maybe he was thinking I had more stored energy. Not quite sure. Anyway, game 3, GG. My takeaway from that game is Heracross is a tough lead. I wouldn't lead with Heracross mainly because of how much energy it takes to get to Mega Horn, as well as its general frailness with shields up. Like, unless you 100% dominate the matchup, I would not bring in Heracross for certain Pokemon. The only Pokemon I would be confident bringing it in, like turn 1, would be against a Vigoroth lead, and only if you know your opponent is going to lead Vigoroth. Now, I think this is game 4. Yes, game 4. So I decided to lead with Sceptile, thinking, just experimenting with the lead. He leads with Armaldo this time, and it's not looking too good for me. Armaldo deals so much damage, but I'm able to get the Leaf Blade off. He shields it. That would have done like 60%. I shield the Rock Blast because that would have done a lot as well. And here I decide to switch out into my Vigoroth. If he has Heracross in the back, at least he's one shield down, and I'd be able to I would be able to at least take one shield off of him and then bring back in Sceptile. But he brings in the Alolan Raichu, obviously. He goes for the Thunder Punch, trying to bait that last shield. I go for the Body Slam, and that does quite a lot. Now, I'm thinking maybe I could have taken out with fast attacks, but I'm not 100% sure because he still has that one shield in the back. I knew if he had Heracross in the back, I would be pretty screwed. I wanted to get that one last shield out of the way, and here I'm debating, should I shield? I decide not to. Vigoroth did good enough, and here I could bring in Sceptile in order to get a little bit of energy for maybe an Aerial Ace. And I'm able to hit the Raichu twice for a clean 8 energy. So here he brings in the Armaldo again, and I decide to shield here. So luckily I saved that shield because Leaf Blade will do a lot. But he smartly switches out into Heracross, who's able to absorb the Leaf Blade. But I have the Noctowl in the back, so maybe he was thinking this match that I had the Magnezone again, or the Magneton, sorry. And because I was able to kind of keep Noctowl safe for most of the game, it actually ended up allowing me to win. If I had Magnezone, I probably would have lost. Or Magneton, sorry. I would have lost that game. So anyway, that was a good game 4. Here's the last game. I'm just like, okay, I don't think he's going to expect me to switch anything. Or, sorry, I think he was expecting me to switch something out. I decided to keep the Sceptile in. Maybe he would think that I would go in with Magneton or Scyther, because I have a habit of just leading Scyther or Sceptile just because of Fury Cutter. And I'm still in a bad matchup here. Well, not really. I guess I wrote my notes wrong. Yeah, he leads the Raichu, so it kind of paid off. Had he led Armaldo, I would have been in a bad position. And he brings it out. I'm able to get off a Leaf Blade, but we run into lag, so I'm just like, what's happening? Come on, game, work. And there, finally I get off the Leaf Blade, and he has to shield, otherwise it'll do a large chunk of damage, and it does at least 60, 70. And then I switch into Vigoroth. I know I can tank a Rock Blast from him, and it would only do about 30%. So I'm going for the counters right here. He could have gotten, I think, a Fury Cutter, but I think the move animation stopped him. So here he has the Raichu. I decide to shield the Thunder Punch because it might kill me. I know it will do it like 40-45%, and then he'd be able to kill me with Sparks. Now, since I was shield baiting him earlier with Body Slam, and he did not fall for it, I decided to go straight for the Bulldoze, and I'm able to knock him out. And his last Pokemon is the Noctowl. And I decide, okay, it's essentially GG's here, because the Pokemon I have in the back, of course, is not a Noctowl, and then I have my Sceptile still around. So here he is trying to store as much energy as possible in order to potentially get off 2 Sky Attacks. If I brought in the Breloom, he would have definitely won, because Breloom would have gotten deleted by a few Wing Attacks. So yeah, here he has to go for the Sky Attack. Kills my Sceptile. Last Pokemon is the Noctowl. So once again, if I brought Scyther, or if I brought the Breloom, I potentially would have lost. Scyther wouldn't have dealt enough damage to Noctowl before he would be able to get to the second or third Sky Attack. And you're seeing how quick he is getting to these Sky Attacks, mainly because of how much energy he farmed. So GG's, Laugh. Those are some fun games. And I learned a lot from them. I'm still conflicted over who I want my electric type to be. Definitely kicking Breloom out because I didn't even use him. And I don't think he's a good Pokemon for that slot. Honestly, I think I am just going to run the Heracross on that slot. Anyway, that was our first to 5. We're probably going to do a bunch more in preparation. There's about a week more until July officially starts, and then we'll be able to play actual Jungle Cup tournaments. So anyway, I will be posting more content related to Jungle Cup. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you like my content, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.